According to ABC News, South Australia's police commissioner said that 2 members of Gus Lamont's family are, quote, not cooperating with investigators, but a police spokesman said they could not comment further on the number of suspects in the case. This is quite an interesting question, isn't it? We've heard that 1 person has been identified as a suspect. Has that now been changed to 2? Back to ABC News, police declared the 4-year-old boy's disappearance a major crime on February 5th. Doesn't that seem like a long time ago now? Saying that a person who resided at Oak Park, a person, singular, had withdrawn their support for the police and was no longer cooperating with them. And the police were considering that person, singular, a suspect. But we also know that 2 people have lawyered up. Why 2? Why not just 1? Still, it would be interesting to know who the police trust less between the grandparents. The person they said was the last to see Gus or someone else. Now, according to news.com.au, there's not been one single piece of evidence that we have located during the searching exercise. It's pretty incredible. Not one single piece of evidence. No footprints, no scent, nothing. And that's based on the most extensive search, I think, arguably in the history of South Australia, that has given us any indication that he did wander off. That's according to Mr. Stevens. Now, the absence of evidence, in this case, the complete absence of evidence, is actually evidence of something. Usually people don't vanish without a trace unless someone goes to the trouble to get rid of all traces. Did that happen here?
I got nightmares in my head, I fear thoughts build up until I can't. My mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear.
Last month, the boy's grandmother, Josie Murray, was charged with unrelated firearms offences following a search of the station. Now, before you get all upset with me, I'm simply reading the text as I see it. Now, it may be unrelated, this unrelated firearms offence, but one has to ask whether the police feel that this particular individual is a more likely suspect or someone else. At this point, we simply don't know for certain. Meanwhile, there's been another major development in this case. Can anyone guess what that is? And it's a development that could lead to a breakthrough in this case. But before we get to that, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do. If you're finding this analysis worthwhile, interesting, meaningful, please do hit the thanks button. One more thing, I'm going to be putting up some news on a limited series documentary dealing with John Benet Ramsey. Remember, this is the 30-year anniversary of that case. So look out for that. That's going to be coming quite soon on this channel. And let's get started. So have a look at this record-breaking rain. It's really something very unusual has taken place across inland Australia. Some areas has received more rainfall in a week than all of last year. And so the real question is, what about Yunta? Well, Yunta received massive amounts of rain. Just have a look at this. Nearly 150 millimeters of rain fell in Mildura, compared to 159 millimeters throughout the whole of 2025. In South Australia, 136 millimeters fell in Maree, which recorded 37 millimeters in total last year. And then there it is, Yunta, 126.88 millimeters. That was on the 1st of March. Lately, the atmosphere in desert towns had been unbelievably moist. But could this be an opportunity for investigators in the Gus Lamont case? Now will really be a brilliant time to return to Yunta and other relevant properties with those cadaver dogs. Any scent that has possibly been packaged in some way may have been disturbed, and if any scent is leaked out, perhaps the dogs will be able to find it. Now, you may well ask, is there another case where a weather event led to the sudden discovery of human remains? Well, absolutely. In the Scott Peterson case, heavy thunderstorms led to flooding into San Francisco Bay, and that was, of course, where the body of Lacey Peterson was submerged and anchored down. And the resulting shift in tides and underwater currents as a result of this sudden rush of energy, energy in terms of this water, loosened the tethers, the anchors that had held Lacey down for about 4 months. Now, within hours of these floods, both Lacey and Connor, her unborn fetus, washed up on the shores of San Francisco Bay. And guess how these remains were first discovered? Well, by folks walking their dogs in the area. And they were found within about 1 mile of each other. And this breakthrough in that case was the direct result of a weather-related event. I'm also not the only one who's suggesting that the cops seize on this opportunity. Check out this recent headline from the Advertiser. Former SAPOL tracker Aaron Stewart says heavy rains offer new hope in search for missing Gus. According to the Advertiser, a former South Australia police officer and tracker says that heavy rains at Yunta could surface new evidence in the search for missing 4-year-old Gus Lamont. Aboriginal man Aaron Stewart, 57, worked as a police officer and tracker for almost 20 years. Mr. Stewart said Sunday's huge 129mm rainfall at Yunta presented a new opportunity for investigators. Stewart said, "The poor fella, if he's out there, is passed away by now, so you're looking for remnants, skeletal or clothing, anything like that, and that sort of thing can wash down," he said. Clothing, a boot, a shoe or something can wash down with water. Precisely. Or a hat. And one does wonder what sort of water courses are there that one might want to look at on that particular property. He went on to say, any stuff that may have been used in committing an offense, you might just get lucky where the rain or the flood just brings it out. Well, I'm not going to take it further than that, other than to mention, interestingly, Australia and parts of South Africa and Namibia actually lie on similar latitudes, which is why the countryside is so similar, similarly arid, similarly hot, similarly dry. And at the same time that there were floods in Australia, there's also a flood that washed away one of the struts of a bridge and in a very arid area, and this caused a luxury train, perhaps you've heard of it, Rovos Rail, to derail. So that's just something that happened at the same time as what happened in Australia. Floods in a very dry area of South Africa at the same time as in Namibia. So we can only hold thumbs that the authorities seize this opportunity, seize this moment, and perhaps something that has eluded investigators and searchers, perhaps this might be brought to light by, let's say, an act of God. What do you guys think? Worth taking advantage of this particular moment? What do you think? Do let me know in the comments. Do also let me know if you've had significant rain in your area. Well, thank you very much for listening this far, and I'll see you guys next time.